You are now listening to Sweep the Rack podcast featuring Brooklyn Rob and Big Mike.
Rob, what's good, homie?
Mike, look, there hasn't been a lot of bowling going on in the last week, but I know there has been some bowling going on in the New Jersey area, and I am dying to hear how your first night of league went. So you got to tell the people, because of the last week, we spoke about in great depth
how I was bowling on house and
house shot.
I'm bowling a house shot league for the summer. So on and so forth. Okay, so can I take some time here? Can I? No, I'm serious though.
You got nothing else to talk about, so we might.
I know. Can I really go deep on the summer league bowling experience here? Because this is, I gotta give the people some background. So
okay.
As I said last week, I believe the only reason that I'm bowling a house league this summer is because my homie GQ, college buddy of mine, who I reunited with, after not talking for quite a long time after college, just lost touch. Reunited with him earlier this year, and we decided to bowl a league together. He's in the bowling, so he's not ready to bowl on sport, and so I'm bowling a house league with him. I did want to bowl an additional sport league, but I don't think it's going to work out because the other sport league that I wanted to bowl is on Wednesday nights when we do the show. So I had to kind of forgo the idea of bowling a sport league, but there's sport practice sessions on Mondays at Majestic Lanes that Rusty Thompson runs, so I can hit those if I want. There's patterns out on Sundays at the local bowling alley that I bowl at here for the sport league that's on Wednesdays, so they can practice on that, so I can hit those. So and the league that I am bowling on house, I totally neglected to remember the fact that it's on Thursday night when the King of the Hill takes place at Carolier. Greg Tack's King of the Hill. So, I'll get a sub for a week or two throughout the summer, and I'll still go to the King of the Hill a couple times, but I'm definitely not going to be able to hit that as a regular thing. So, the original league we wanted to bowl was going to be at Majestic, a triples league. And, Rob, I call up to get in the league, and Majestic Lanes. It's a big house. It's 40 lanes. It's not a small center. I call up to get in the league. It's completely filled. Okay? 40 teams, 3-man teams. Summer league.
Wow.
Okay? Right? Rob, let me say, here's going to be one of my overall points of this conversation. Bowling is back right now. Bowling is back right now. Seriously, especially league bowling. League bowling is back. Okay? So, the 40 team league at Majestic filled up. We couldn't get in, right? So I decided to bowl at a different center, Bolero Hazlitt, which is where I bowl my sport league in the winter, right? That I have bowled. Obviously, I didn't bowl it the last 2 years or year and a half, but that's where I bowl normally in my sport league. So we missed the first week. Okay, the first week was last Thursday. We missed the first week because I totally neglected to remember that last week was the first week, and I already had stuff planned for Thursday night last night. And I called my buddy, my partner, GQ, and he was like, yo, I can't make it. So I called the bowling center. I explained. I said, listen, we got our signals crossed and whatnot. Can we still join the league? They said, yeah, no problem. You can come in on Sunday, anytime before next Thursday, and you can post bowl for the first week. But after that, you can't post bowl. I said, okay, no problem. So I call my boy. I'm like, when what works for you? He's like, Sunday works for me. I said, okay, cool. They don't open. I call up the bowling alley to schedule a post bowl for Sunday. They don't open until 12. Right. Well, Sunday out here on the East Coast was like nearly 100 degrees. And, I just got the pool. So I had some plans. I had some company coming over. But I was like, all right, we got to do this post bowl. I scheduled it for 12 o'clock. And I'm like, I'll just go over. We'll do our thing and we'll be out of there quickly. Okay. So we get there. We're bowling on 1 and 2. All right. And Rob, I haven't bowled on a house shot in I don't know, numerous years, I would say, especially regularly. right? Here and there, leftover house shot when I go to practice, okay. But fresh house shot, haven't done that in quite a long time, right? So we go to 1 and 2, and we start practicing, and the immediate thing that I notice is how dry they are. Yo, they are so dry. I mean, like 8 and out is so dry. I could easily have used plastic if I wanted to. Okay, that's how dry they were. All right, and then the middle of the lane, like it had oil on it, but I would describe it as kind of shorter oil because the ball was like hooked. I mean, it was
Like
crazy.
like
So-
light volume, right? Like light volume, like not a lot of volume.
super light volume.
Mhm.
Super light volume in the middle. Okay. So
Okay.
like 8 and out is totally hooked. Now realize, and I'm gonna go deep here. My boy GQ, I'm trying to set him up, right? I'm trying to look out for him. So what did I do a couple weeks ago before we started bowling? We knew we were gonna bowl this league. I told him, listen, I got you a couple balls, okay? Because that's how I roll, people. When I get free balls, they go to other people. Okay. Just so you know how I roll. I get a few free balls, not going to say from who, but I get a few free rocks. I throw them GQ's way, and one of them was a great game breaker 4. And that's the one we immediately drilled up. So he's using that, and I'm watching him. And
Yeah, not on that.
oh my
shot.
God, Rob.
Yeah.
When I say that he could not keep the ball to the right of the head pin, like
Oh, yeah.
it didn't matter what he did, what I told him, it just did not matter. The ball was just not going to stay to the right of the head pin, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, well, and I know that that's a little bit of an earlier rolling ball, but understand my thought process here. Like, we're going to be bowling on a house shot. I'm assuming it's going to be pretty.
It's a great,
decent
great ball for a
volume,
house shot.
right?
Great
I
ball
would
for a house
figure,
shot, right?
especially
Yeah,
for somebody
100%.
that's not that experienced,
Sure.
lower rev rate, etc.
Sure.
Well, totally, I mean, just unusable. And that's really all he had because his other stuff is getting plugged and re-drilled. Almost unusable. First game, I don't know how I did this in retrospect. The first game, we only had 3 minutes of practice.
What?
Okay.
Why?
I don't know. I was in a hurry. I was in a hurry to get in and get out of there. The practice came on. It was 3 minutes. I didn't even ask questions. I just started throwing balls. So I was like, I guess it's because usually you get 6 minutes and there's only half the teams. I guess
6
that's
minutes.
that's what this center, most of their leagues, they do 6 minutes. 6 minutes of practice. Okay. So we had 3 minutes of practice, threw a couple shots, noticed they were on fire. I don't have any equipment that's necessarily set up to bowl on house. I'm using I got all balls that have a little bit of surface on them at least because I'm mostly bowling on sports stuff wherever I go. So I only brought 3 balls in with me because it was 100 degrees out and I didn't feel like carrying a bunch of stuff. And again, I'm in a hurry. I want to get in and out. I want to go enjoy the pool, etc. I ended up using a web tour. Okay, pin up web tour. All right, was the ball. Well, my other option was a physics.
Yeah, no, you can't use that. Asymmetrical. That thing was going to burn.
Asymmetrical physics. So I was like, all right, out of the 2 I got, I'm going to go with the web tour, right?
Yeah, it's probably it's not a bad ball. I mean, but still though, that's when there's light volume, it's still going to hook early.
Yo, first game, the only thing I concentrated on was not hitting the ball at the bottom of my swing. Okay,
What'd you shoot?
What'd you shoot?
Come on,
I shot 259.
Oh,
Okay, I shot 259 the first game.
Damn it.
Right, it should have been. It honestly should have been 280. Okay, it should have been 280, but I laid one short in the middle of the game, and I crossed over and almost dominoed them forward, but left one pin standing. Okay, on the cross, and then I shot 259 the first game, and by the end of the first game, I was already pretty much like almost up against the ball return. Just trying to not hit the ball, sort of spin it off my hand a little bit, not get it right of 8. It was crazy. Next game, I had nowhere to go, man. I had nowhere to go. I ran out of room.
What'd you shoot?
I shot 158.
Ah!
I shot
House shots
158.
too easy, Mike.
I'm not fronting here. Listen, there's more to the story here. I told you I'm going to go deep with this one. So I shoot 158 the second game, and then the third game, I kind of just tried to get 9 and make spares, so I didn't shoot another 150 just to try and get us a win. I think I shot like 2-0 something. Okay, I was blown away by how much hook was on the lane. And I thought to myself, like, wow, like if this is what house shots have become, and I'm not, and again, I'm going to go deep here, but I'm thinking to myself after this is what house shots are. I just don't even know. I mean, I'm going to have to drill a ball. I'm going to have to, at least get something in my bag to allow me to have a chance to play on this stuff. So I get done bowling, and I text one of my buddies who's also bowling in this league, who bowls at this house regularly. And I said, yo, man, like they were incredibly dry. It was unbelievable how dry they were. I can't believe that that's what the house shot is there normally. What does he tell me? Their machine is currently broken.
Oh, so they haven't oiled. They
Okay.
haven't.
No, they're oiling, but there's some
just no
kind of
oil.
malfunction going on in the machine that the machine is not putting out what it should be putting out.
Is that
in
Majestic?
terms of volume. No,
Dave wants to know what house.
This was Bolero. Bolero Hazlitt. Bolero Hazlitt.
So Bolero's lane machine was broken. They haven't fixed it.
So broken. Apparently, they have a new one on order that's supposed to get there soon. And my buddy was telling me that, like that. He said when they went the previous Thursday, everyone bowled like shit because it's all guys who bowl there full time and are there all the time. And they all went in, and the shot was completely dry and different, and etc. So, so I'm not making excuses. I'm definitely not. And I think had I had a better ball choice, I'll tell you the only ball I had in my trunk, and I have about 12 balls in my trunk at any given time. The only ball I had in my trunk that I really could have considered using and might have been effective was a Pearl Black Widow. And that was it. That's the only ball that I had that I was like, maybe
you don't have a plastic? You could. Why don't you throw your plastic?
I did have plastic, but I don't know. I didn't go
plastic.
To it.
I'm just saying, man, try it in practice. If it stays same thing next week, man, the plastic could roll just as good as a hard urethane. Really, like plastic. If they're that dry, dude, you could play right up 10 with that plastic. I guarantee you could have a better look.
I know I can. Listen.
You should.
I watched Andrew Kane at the 2003 High Roller win a sweeper going 279, 279.
Yeah, Clear Wolf.
Yeah,
Clear Wolf. Yeah, I know. I was there. I won a couple high roller matches with a target zone up 3.
Yeah.
But anyway, like it's great. The one thing I got out of that story.
No, Ian Lang. That is an Omega Lion. Actually, that's a throwback Omega Lion. But you're right. I may have been able to pull that off the shelf and use that. That might have looked really good. That's a fair point. Go ahead, Rob.
Dude, the one thing I got out of that story, though, it looked like you're pre-bowling Sunday morning. You don't really know what you're getting into. I'm curious to see if they're going to be the same way when you actually show up live next week.
Well, it's tomorrow. It's
tomorrow.
Next week
okay,
is tomorrow.
It's Thursday, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm really glad to hear bowling is back and the league is in Majestic is filled. That's my boy Chris. I believe.
So
Chris
is
Fisher's
this league. So is this league that I'm in,
dude. So real quick, Ian Lang's in the chat.
That's actually the league I was going to join, Rob.
Right.
Chris Fisher's league is the league I was going to join at Majestic.
Fish is great, and he definitely knows how to run the pro shop and league. If you guys don't know, check out Chris Fisher's pro shop at Majestic Lanes, man. Kid has been drilling my stuff since I was a kid, and good friend of mine. Throw my name out, man. You get maybe a discount. Anyway, Ian Lang's in the chat, right? And I just saw a post on Facebook that had me dying, where the league scheduled 38 teams to bowl in a house that has 36 lanes. So there was some controversy in the meeting, I guess, at how they're going to accommodate all 38 teams in 36 lanes. Well, why not kick the last 2 teams that joined the league out and tell them that the league is filled like they did to you, Mike, at Majestic, right? Like, why are you going to let people –
well, if you – okay, it depends if they accepted the entries already and told those teams they were in, or if they told those teams, oh well, we're already full and you're on a waiting list, and now they're trying to get those teams in, right? That makes a difference here, because if somebody
That's
made the
hilarious.
mistake, if somebody,
Yeah.
well, I mean, honestly, I
Who
think
makes that mistake, though?
I think
How do
they
you make
should
that
either
mistake?
bowl for it or fight for it.
Dude, fight for it. How about, dude?
I think it should be either one, right? It
I'm
should
all
either
about
be
it.
every team selects one player and they fight battle royale style, battle
Dude,
royale until
5-on-5, like Survivor
yeah,
Series, Mike.
first two men out. First two men out are the teams that are out,
So,
or you bowl for it. You bowl for it. Everybody bowls one or two full team games. Boom, set them up. Lowest series are out. Lowest series are out of the league. Make it high stakes. But I want to comment on this though. It depends to me whether they told all the teams, okay, you have a spot you're in, and then discovered they told too many teams, or if there was a waiting list already. If there was a waiting list already, they should just shut out the teams that were on the waiting list and move forward, and that's it.
Mike,
But
I do like that idea, though.
if they told those teams that they're in, then yeah, you kind of have a problem on your hands.
Dude, I like that idea, though. The first week of league, but the problem is there's only 36 lanes, so I don't know how you do that. Anyway, I don't want to get too much into that.
I mean, Rob, we're sitting here talking about leagues being filled. I know Greg Tack's tournament over the weekend had like 120 entries.
Holy
I
shit.
know that. Yeah. He ran it's the Greg Rodingen Memorial Tournament. It's a benefit for, I think, heart disease, American Heart Association. And Greg Rodingen was an Eastern Region bowler, older guy. He was also a high school coach in New Jersey. One of the few coaches that I actually liked coaching on the same pair with, because he actually took things pretty seriously, and I appreciated that. But
was that the tournament that Alex Cavagnero won? Because I saw he won.
Yep. Alex won. Yeah, a lot of good competition at that tournament too. A lot of good competition at that tournament.
Let me ask you a question, which is curious. So, what did it take, a pandemic to get people to come out and bowl? What was going on pre-COVID?
Well, I think, I mean, all right. Let's talk factors here. Let's do that. I like getting into that. So, one factor, obviously, Rob, is that people haven't been able to bowl in a while, right? That's got to be the number one factor. That you're probably going to see this effect for a little while, at least in the sport. Probably this upcoming league season, I would say, will be a big season.
Quit again. Everyone's going to quit again.
Everybody's going to bowl one league season and get
that's
fried,
it. Everyone's going to
be fried, and then they're done again. Yeah. So you're right. USBC ought to raise dues this year and get while the getting's good. Get that extra money in the pot and get these tournaments paying something. So obviously, Rob, I think the number one factor is people haven't been able to do anything that they love, whatever it is that you love, you really haven't been able to do it for a long time. And
no one loved bowling. Nobody was bowling.
There's a lot of people that love bowling. There's a lot of people that I think, with many other things, take it for granted, right? And it's easy to let something lay there and be disregarded or be ignored if you're taking it for granted. And then when you don't have the opportunity to do that, it definitely makes you think about it differently, right? So here's another factor. I think that, because of the stimulus checks,
stymie checks.
Listen, and everything that I'm reading, I just watched the national news. They did a whole report on employers not being able to hire people. There's employment shortages out there, so it seems relatively easy if you want to work and earn some money to work and earn some money. So I think that people are, financially recovering as well from this pandemic. So I think we're seeing a little bit of a difference there. And obviously, bowling comes down to expendable income, so
people are blowing the stymie checks, man, on bowling. And then that's the end of it. As soon as the funds dry up, there's going to be people are going to be back to for 10 entries a scratch tournament.
I don't know if it's people blowing their checks. I think it might be that, people are in an okay financial situation where they feel comfortable going and spending some money on bowling or investing in some equipment or whatever it may be. But yeah, to me, those would be the two biggest factors in why bowling's coming back. Obviously,
Okay, well, it's good to see.
forced
Look, I'm
break
not complaining.
and
I'm
the
just joking around.
economic end of it.
Yeah, look, like I'm happy to see it. I'm just joking around, right? About like, hopefully, bowling can continue and the leagues can continue to grow, and we start seeing bowling alleys open instead of closing. Wouldn't that be a fucking sight, Mike?
Yeah, I think you're probably taking things a little bit far there.
Hey, man, look, I'm just trying to.
It would be a good time to be the biggest bowling center operator in the United States, though, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, good time to be in a Bolero executive team or the dream team. Speaking of the dream team,
yeah.
Mike,
So can I touch on Bolero League one more minute?
Sure,
I know you want to get into something else here, but I saw a post on Facebook this week about, and I don't know the details on this. I'm just talking about what I saw on Facebook. Somebody posted that Bolero centers are now including a gratuity, like on any kind of bill, any kind of food or drink that you get, and that they were including a COVID charge, but now they're putting it on as a gratuity or something. And I mean, I'm all for tipping. I'm all for good tipping, for good service. But I don't know, man. Like Bolero better be careful. They should be careful because
Monopoly, Mike.
but like at a certain, I hear you, Rob. I hear you, and you know what? Like the remodel jobs that they've done in a lot of the centers are pretty good. To me, the cleanliness of the centers for the bowler is terrible. Like I had to go and literally like wipe the
Robert Hamilton
down.
agrees. Says there is a charge at Bolero, a COVID charge.
I had to wipe things down myself and make sure that the approaches were clean and all that. But I think at a certain point, man, you're gonna make it impossible for the league bowler to do what they want to do if the prices get so high that you really can't afford to go and get yourself a weekly meal or practice a little bit, like Charlie's bringing up in the chat here.
$6.74 per game.
Yeah,
Mike. I mean, I know though for a fact though the Bolero has a really good summer like pass where you could pay like $38 or $40 or $60 and you get like 3 games a day for free, which is good if you're gonna use it. Even if you're gonna use it 2 or 3 days a week, it's still worth a $40 or $60 charge for a few months. But yeah, problem is you don't know when to show up because you don't know like when these lanes are getting oiled. So I'm not really sure. I have to go visit the Bolero. Bolero has a monopoly in this Arizona area over here.
There's a lot. There's a lot that Bolero could do. Like we joke around that they should hire us, but one role that I do think we could fill in their company, or that they should look to somebody who's a serious bowler. And they should put somebody in charge, make somebody the head of, league bowling or competitive bowling for Bolero. And, that person should be in a role to make the experience better for the competitive bowler. Like, for instance, if you're a league bowler there, you should be getting huge discounts anytime you walk in the door on practice, on food, on drinks, huge discounts. Like, for instance, Charlie just brought up the $6.74 games. So let's call it $7 a game. A league bowler should be paying $1.50 a game, $2 a game. So yeah, that kind of deal. And I think that like there is a line there. We're seeing strong indications that bowling's coming back, right? But I do think that there's that line, right, where once you cross that line of cost, people aren't really gonna be with it. But all right, Rob, you want to talk about the Dream Team? Big news from the Dream Team this week, though, Rob.
Oh yeah,
Pabst Blue Ribbon. Pabst Blue Ribbon, new PBA sponsor.
I like Pabst on tap though, not in the can. I like it on tap.
I hate it. I think it tastes like swill. Honestly,
no. I mean, look, it's beer.
I thought it's something that like.
Well, you're a craft. You're
people
a bougie
drink
craft.
to be cool.
You're a craft beer bougie guy.
No, I'll enjoy a regular man's beer too.
I like PBR on
for
tap.
a long time. I've been a Yingling guy, so Don't
Yingling,
mispeg me, okay?
dude. Coors Light, PBR on tap, Miller High Life, Miller Light, Coors Light, the beer of the people, Mike. But look, anytime you can get a beer sponsor to come on, now we don't know the arrangements, we don't know the we don't know any of the details behind the sponsors.
Can I say though? Let me point this out because I want to be fair. You're right. We don't know the details, and I wish we did. I wish we had that information because that information is important. How long is the sponsorship agreement for? What does it bring to the PBA? What does Pabst get out of it? But I will say this. It looks like they added Pabst as the sponsor of these events that they're going to have next week, Rob.
Yeah, I guess from Jimmy, good to see you, man. There's to sponsor the next 3 events. That's perfect. That's exactly what you want, right? Like you want sponsors to come in and
especially where are they going? Bayside. Right. So yeah, I
3-6-pack to the PBA.
Charlie to the Pinsiders.
The Pinsider crew.
Charlie, you joke, but I'm going to make a point in a minute here as this conversation goes on about the sponsorship with PBR, and I'm actually going to suggest that what you're saying in the chat there about a free 6-pack as a promotional thing for the PBA. I mean, something like that is great. Like promote the PBA event in a town and say a ticket for 2 free PBRs. Now I will say that I feel like as usual the PBA is a little bit late to the PBR party here. I feel like the PBR craze happened a few years back, and I don't know if it's as hot as it was back then, but I'll take it though, especially sponsoring events, especially with their name on an actual event.
Like, could you imagine Jimmy put bowlers on the cans? Could you imagine drinking a cold one from a Bill O'Neill beer?
That's a terrible idea, Jimmy. No one would know who they are. I love you, Jimmy.
Imagine?
I love you. You're the best. You're the best in the game. I swear. But that's a terrible idea, my man.
That's hilarious. That would be funny, though. That would be great.
You, Jimmy, should do that, though. We should see some memes with a PBR can with the bowlers, put on there. So, I know like you'll PBR. Make that happen.
I don't know. I like PBR on tap. Anyway, so I'm going to throw a question out to our fans. I'm curious. How many people out there in the chat know about what event, this Empress event that the PBA is on air, the Empress edition of King of the Lanes? Does anybody know who's bowling or what the format, or I guess more of a question would be has anybody seen any promotion on this event from the PBA?
Question is, does anyone know anything other than when these air? Do we know who's bowling in them? Do we know what the prizes are? Do we know what the format is? Do we know
anything?
Do we know anything?
And keep in mind, people, it's airing 6 days from now on the 15th. So
have we seen any promotion for this anywhere?
Anywhere? Has anybody seen anything
other than the only page Mike, that works on the PBA website, which is the front page, the only page that works?
Mike, I'm just going to go down here.
Nothing. No. Nope. Zero. Zip. Zero. Nothing. Excellent nothing. Promoting. Nothing.
Dude,
a lot of nothings. A lot of nothings in the chat.
So what is happening right now? Like, should we just watch these shows because they're getting aired?
Let me update everybody too. The PBA website still stinks. So let me give everybody a quick update there. But
dude, exactly. All of a sudden we're gonna start seeing some promotion because people are look. They pre-bowled the Empress King of the Hill, dude. Seriously, like.
Well, someone's saying they put out a press release. Shep Ramsey saying there was a press release with the bowlers.
Nico,
where,
what's
Shep?
up, man?
Where at? Point me in the right direction. I missed that. I didn't see
2019, Mike.
So who's on these shows then? Because that was one of the main things that I was looking for was who is on these shows, right? Who's bowling?
I'm just trying to say
I won't be going to Bayside this year or next week. Actually, I'm still in work, so it wouldn't have mattered.
Okay, so here's my point.
Bill's not bowling though, Rob. Bill's not in any of these events.
What it is.
And
Look,
that,
like,
I mean, I got to be honest, that's surprising to me because to me, he's like one of
Mike,
the bigger names out there over the last year or two.
here's my point. Okay, our podcast and you and I cater to mostly hardcore bowling fans. Okay, we have every once in a while our casual fans will come in, but most of the people that watch and follow us are usually really into bowling. They're all over social media. They know what's going on in the sport. You especially, more than anybody that I know, follow the PBA religiously, right? If we don't know anything about what's going on, then how in the world are the casual fans going to know when the show is going to air, when who's bowling on it, like anything? And then
And
what? And then you expect ratings?
You're right. And listen, I'm trying to be fair. I try and give both sides. I gave praise earlier in this episode. Now I'm gonna I'm gonna point out some negative. And Rob, can I just say it's just laziness, yo. It's just laziness. Okay.
I mean, they're getting sponsors. They're getting new
Brad,
sponsors.
Brad,
It's
Brad and
great.
Kyle said the money wasn't worth what?
What, the Empress Edition, the King of the Hill? Is that what we're talking? Like,
Brad and Kyle said the money wasn't worth what?
wasn't worth bowling? Maybe wasn't going to two people going to Maine to bowl the shows.
I need clarification there, Kyle. All right, back to what I was saying. It's laziness. It's just lazy. I mean, they're the biggest bowling center owner in America, in North America. So it should be very easy to promote a lot of this stuff in their centers to their league bowlers. For instance, this sponsorship deal with Paps, right? Well, why not? I mean, I would imagine like Paps are gonna be in Bolero centers, right? If I'm Paps and I'm doing a sponsorship deal with Bolero and the PBA, I would at least want some Paps and some Bolero centers. Why not run something saying, hey, we're doing the PBA events here, Paps sponsor, we're going to offer a discount on Paps and Bolero centers for the weeks that this is on, right? Just to promote it in that way. But like, it's honestly, a lot of it to me seems like pure laziness. It just seems like, yeah, we're running this just to run it because we have to run it, and that's it.
Yeah, and here's the thing, Shep Ramsey, the bowlers and the matches are on the link. First off, trying to find the link on the PBA website is a mess. Second off, should the bowlers have to go on the PBA website and click on 7 million links to try to find what's going on in the show? Or should the PBA social media department be shoving these shows down the fans' throats, or actually promoting it a little bit, maybe interviewing the players, or putting out a little bit of a spoof where like the players are saying, we're the King of the Hill is coming up, or, drum some excitement up, like have a little bit of promotion. We don't know anything about these shows and we're supposed to watch them to be excited about it. I'm sorry, but
okay, we have a lot of we have a lot of comments in the chat here. All right, so Kyle Michalowski kind of is not being clear on what he was saying before still. But Jimmy is saying that Brad and Kyle said all the bowlers were complaining about the small purses of the Open and Masters. Well, not surprising, but hey, bowlers, don't get too spoiled too quickly. All right, a couple of years ago, you were happy to be bowling for 30 grand. So let's not get too spoiled too quickly. Would be my advice.
100%.
Nick Puhar, thank you, Nick. Nick has posted the list of women. Nico Puhar has posted the list of women bowling in this event. Rob, let's do the rundown. Clara Guerrero, Daria Pajak, Kelly Kulik. Oh, look at that, Rob. Kelly Kulik getting some respect. We're going to talk about her later, too.
We're going to talk a little bit about Kelly.
Danielle McEwen, Maria Rodriguez, Missy Parkin, Diana Zavjalova, Liz Johnson, Ashley Galante, Stephanie Johnson, and Verity Crawley are all bowling. Okay, all right.
Good lineup. That's a good lineup of women.
It is a good lineup. That is a good
lineup.
That lineup. Good bowlers, marketable people. That is a good lineup for the show. Okay, all right,
Absolutely.
Good. Nico, any chance we got the guys' side of who's bowling? Any chance you could throw that up as well? All right, Robert Hamilton is commenting and saying, I believe PBR is the cheapest beer in the Bolero houses anyway. So, I don't drink when I'm bowling, but do they all have PBR, Robert Hamilton? Is it safe to assume that all Bolero houses already sell PBR? Okay.
I guess they do. They must have a good relationship with Pabst, which is great. Look, beer should always be related with bowling. The PBA should always have a beer sponsor. Okay, like beer and bowling goes hand in hand. It's like peanut butter and jelly. It's like ham no burger, my Kool-Aid no sugar, beer and bowling, right?
It's so right, like it's so easy when I think about it. It's like the sponsors for bowling are easy. It's easy
Right.
to
Manscaped
come up with
and
where you should
beer,
be.
Mike.
Very
trimming
easy.
your hedges and drinking beer. Two things that you think about when you go bowling.
No. I mean, I would agree, and I'll say this: like I mentioned before about the deal with PBR and offer the discounted PBR. Rob, what do people love more than anything? People love free shit more than anything.
Yeah,
right?
freeze for me. Give me 3.
Yeah. So, in
Rubber
terms
man.
of like promoting the PBA, promoting these shows, etc., not only from the side of Bolero, but if it's in a Bolero center, but also from the side of the PBA, the ball companies, etc. Like the PBA shows should be a free, a freebie free for all, is what it should be. It should be like you create an environment where bowlers want to show up to these events because they have a chance to get something for free and walk away with a ball, a towel, coupons for free drinks, whatever it may be. Like I just think that there's a lot of power within the bowling community with Bolero and the PBA and the ball companies, etc., to really create some promotion there as well. Again, by doing like some cross promotional deals or giving some stuff away for free, or giving out discounts to various things. So,
all right. So Shep Ramsey.
See, JD is in the chat. JD, we talked about this earlier. I don't know if you just jumped on or not, but he's saying Bolero hits you with a COVID fee and an 18% gratuity. I was talking about the same thing because someone posted it on Facebook and I read that. And yeah, okay. All right, Shep Ramsey giving us the rundown here. Saturday, June 19th, 2-3, contenders match. Chris Barnes versus AJ Johnson. And the king match is Chris Prather, okay, versus the winner. All right. I hope we're able to bet on these.
Yeah, right.
I hope we're able to bet on these. Jesper against
There's Parker Bone. Ooh,
okay.
That's a little bit of a nostalgia. I don't mind that.
I don't mind it, but is that much of a match?
I mean, Parker, man. Point? I mean, his nostalgia, people will watch because Parker's bowling.
Wow, look at the Anthony Nyer. Anthony Nyer makes the 710, and the next thing you know,
well, in his defense, he made the Masters show. I mean,
I don't know how. I don't know how I feel about
Mack.
that. Tim Mack.
Love Tim Mack on the show.
Wow, Tim Mack.
Tim Mack. Love Tim Mack. Former guest.
I do love Tim Mack. I do love Tim Mack against Jason Sterner. If we can bet on this, I'm telling you right now, I'm betting a large amount of money on Tim Mack. No disrespect to Jason Sterner.
Revenge
I got
match.
much respect for Jason Sterner. I even bet on him in the last event we could bet on. But
Barnes AJ has a chance to get a little bit fiery because they'll both definitely.
I don't know.
So Shep Ramsey, appreciate the rundown. You better rundown than the PBA website, Shep Ramsey. Anyway. A lot of those discounts could be a part of a package deal with the club membership idea. I mean, there's a lot of marketing.
Yeah, give the fans a reason to show up.
Sure.
Other than the bowling. Give the fans a reason to show up other than the bowling.
Right.
The reason people show up at Bayside is because it's a party. They're there to watch the bowling tournament, but they're really there for the party. You know this, Rob. You've been there. I know this. I've been there.
I can't wait to go back.
They're there for the party. So that's what I'm saying. Like, provide the party, and the people will show up almost regardless of where you do it. So, all right, Rob, everybody be on the lookout for these events. Let's support. And I do want to be clear here. And someone mentioned this in the chat previously. Let's support the PBA. Let's support the companies that sponsor the PBA. Like I'm going out and I'm getting a new fridge for my garage because I have too much beer and it's taking over my refrigerator in my.
I'm getting a fresh Manscaped, Mike.
Okay, I already have one. I could go in the next room and grab it. Keep your game tight, fellas.
I gotta keep it tight too.
Keep your shit tight. Okay, I've had that for a minute. I'm actually on my second version of the Manscaped tool.
Dude, my brother bought 10 cases of PBRs, so he's
okay.
set for a good
listen,
weekend.
that's where I was going. I'll definitely go out and buy a case or two of PBR and put it in my fridge. Even if I don't drink it, I'll give it to other people. I will let others
Could you
drink
imagine
it.
going over Hey, Bill, could you imagine going over to Mike's house and he sits down and he pours himself a nice, expensive IPA, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, can you grab me a beer?" And then he hands you a PBR. Fucking dead, man.
Don't insult me, son. Don't insult. Don't play me like I'm some cheapo that would do that to somebody.
I would.
You know how I. That's what someone would do to me, and then I'd never go to their house again, and I'd never invite them over to my house again.
Dude, as long as I'm drinking a PBR by your pool, I'm cool. Whatever I'm drinking, honestly.
JD is asking in the chat, "Am I bowling the Vars tournament on the 19th, Cavalier?" I saw it, JD. Yeah, if I'm actually. I will not be. I have plans on that day. I have some company coming that day.
Pabst Blue
I thought it was
Ribbon
a multi-day tournament. So if it is, perhaps I can get over there. But I do have some company coming on the 19th. But no, listen, I agree. I agree with you. Like I will go out and buy some PBR. I have bought Barbasol in the past because they supported the PBA. I try and support the PBA sponsors as much as I can, and people, the fans should too, right? We all should. I also think we should watch the shows, and I hope we can bet on the shows. I hope we can bet on these
PBR. I'd like to see a sponsor like PBR, like start involving maybe one of the pros on one of their commercials and actually put it out on like network TV. I hate when the bowling advertisements are only on bowling shows. I kind of like to see bowling advertisements like branch out to other demographics, like maybe wrestling, Mike. Wouldn't that be interesting to put a bowling commercial during a wrestling show? I mean, that would make sense, right?
That's part of what I've complained about with Fox, and the fact that like they use the bowling shows to promote all their other stuff, but you never, when I watch their other stuff, see bowling promote it, and that's definitely
there's a reason for that probably. But anyway, all right, Mike, let's keep it moving. We got a couple of other things we want to go through. Since bowling is not going on right now, or a lot of stuff.
PWBA, but it is PWBA.
Mike,
Kelly,
my girl Kelly,
Revenge Tour. You called it, Rob. You called it.
Amazing as a bowler. She should have never not been drafted, Mike. It's still the biggest tragedy.
Put some respect on her name,
dude. I got to get her back on because if I asked her, hey, her motivation right now to just win is, I guarantee you, stemming a lot from not being drafted. And she would never admit it because she's too, she's above saying that. But Mike, I'm gonna say that for her. So even though it might not be true. Mike, the final match though was a barn burner, and I really wish I would have been able to watch that live. Shannon O'Keefe, okay? You want to talk about a power finals?
Two legends.
Dude, so Titans. She gets up. Kelly gets up double in an attempt to lock Shannon out and threw the first one and then left a 7-pin, I believe, forcing Shannon O'Keefe to double for the title, and Shannon went through the nose and left the baby split and lost.
Which, by the way, doesn't happen often.
No,
if you follow women's bowling,
she's money.
Like usually when she gets up there with something on the line, it's Freddie for the cheddar time.
Mike, and here's the thing about the title match. Mike, she switched balls. Kelly switched balls in the 6th frame, and then went 4, and then or the 5th frame, and like through the next 4. So like, you want to talk about? I think she switched balls and then switched hand positions or something. You want to talk about seasoned veteran move? Man, that girl, she can bowl, dude. Kelly is an awesome bowler, and the next tournament for the PWBA, they're heading to Smyrna, Tennessee, Mike, for the Greater Nashville Open. Just going to be starting tomorrow, going to June 12th. Mike, I like the PWBA. I mean, look, like they're in upstate New York. Next week they're in Tennessee. They're covering all kinds of cities and areas that the PBA never really go to. So shout outs to the PWBA. Look, like shout outs to USBC.
Chad, where's our free bowl TV subscription, bro? Come on.
Look, like,
I want to be watching all this. I got too many subscriptions already. Please.
I think the USBC doesn't get enough credit for really like holding the PWBA events. I mean, look, they had 66 bowlers at the PWB event. Like it's not 150 strong like bowlers. It's not a huge rating fine. It's not a huge money like grab for the USBC, right? They're doing it for really to keep up the high level competitive of women's bowling. And I really shout outs, man. They don't get enough credit, the USBC. We're so quick to complain about a lot of the stuff they do, but for them running PWB events all across the country is really kudos to the USBC in my opinion.
Yeah, Shep in the chat letting us all know that the PWBA posts the step ladders on YouTube shortly after they finish. I was aware. I want to watch the whole thing though, Shep. I want to watch them. I want to see some match play action. I want to see it all. So interesting win. Great win for Kelly Kulik. And yeah, Rob, I agree. I mean, it's nice to be able to see the best female bowlers in the world be able to go out, compete for something. At least partly earn a living for some of them. Through the sport of bowling. So that's great to see. So
it is.
All right, Rob, enough positivity around here, Rob. The people know what time it is. Hit them with what they want. Let's not get positive for too long here, people. This is Sweep the Rack.
Yeah.
All right, you want to go first? Or you want me to go first? I feel like we both have good ones this week. So
yeah, I'm gonna go first because I've been chomping at the bit to talk about this one. So
I know you even posted on this one. You couldn't help yourself.
Yeah, I couldn't help because it was too good. So I got to send a sincere congratulations out to my guy here on the USBC message boards on the gift that keeps on giving, the man, the myth, the legend, William Nelson. Congratulations on two fronts. One, you've won Worst of the Week. Congrats on winning Worst of the Week. The second congrats is I'm going to read the post, and then we could all congratulate him. So his post says, I am so very happy to say that I finally got my very first 300 this last Tuesday on our first night of Summer League. Our league is a 9-pin no tap, but you know what it is still a 300. I was really flying high that night. It was also on the very first game as well. You are
high. You are high if you think a 9 tap is really a 300. You're high as shit, son.
I knew that my first 300 was coming, but I just didn't know when. Everything was just right that night. Mike.
No. You get on my case. You get on my case when I say the scores are too high. These 300 videos, they're just, it's amazing that these people shoot through 300, etc. And then you flame this guy for his post. Is a no tap 300 all that much different than a lot of the fraudulent ass 300s that we already see out there? Bold on the nonsense that we see out there. Let's also put out there in this Worst of the Week that usually it's me catching the flack from the pro bowlers on Twitter. Belmo came out of the woodwork. Oprah effect came out of the woodwork and commented to you on this very issue about someone bowling a no tap 300. And also, let me say Belmo, okay?
Sure, he's listening.
You don't get to root for two teams. Okay? I don't know how you do things over in Australia, but here in America, you pick one team, okay? And you root for that team.
Oh, okay.
He's rooting for the Lakers. He's rooting for the Sixers on Twitter. My man,
Mike,
you might bowl with two hands, but you only get to root for one team. So make it.
Let me throw my beef real quick in a few-minute rant on no tap. What I tweeted was the fact that I can't stand no tap as a whole. Like I feel like no tap shouldn't be allowed in the sport of bowling. Now, maybe that was a little bit extreme. What I really was meaning is what set me off on it is the fact where I'll see a local bowling center run a no tap tournament every week, and they'll get a bunch of entries. But God forbid that same center would run a scratch tournament or one in a 6-month span of being there. Okay. And you see that too often where the bowling centers are running weekly no tap tournaments. And God forbid they run one scratch tournament in a 6-month span, let alone they're running a weekly no tap tournament. It just shows you it's a spotlight of where competitive bowling is these days. Okay. When you got 150 people showing up for a no tap tournament every week, and then you get 25 people or 15 people showing up for a sports scratch tournament, that's the state of bowling right now. And I
Yeah,
disagree with it.
but what does that go back to, right? And I've talked about this before, and I'll make this point again. I feel very strongly about this. To me, this goes back, and I've talked about this before. This goes back to the idea that bowling has become a sport that people go to when they want to validate something about themselves, when they want to validate something about them being good at something, right? Because it's very easy at this point in bowling to achieve some kind of level of success and point to that achievement and say, this makes me good, right? And because the standard of that level of success has gotten so low over time in bowling, which it has, it's almost as if any level of success is worthy of saying, yes, this is an accomplishment and I am an accomplished bowler. And that doesn't matter if it's a no tap 300, like in this guy's case, or if it's a no tap tournament, like you're talking about, or if it's some guy who bowls a 300 on ridiculously easy stuff and the ball did most of the work and he just happened to match up and has no idea about that. Or if it's the guy who bowls 30 300s and posts, oh, this is my 31st 300 and 18th 800 series. It goes for him too. You know,
Sure. Yeah. Social
on
media
some level.
It's a social media age.
No. It was before this, Rob. It was before social media, though. This idea has been going on in the bowling community for a very, very long time, even from when we were teenagers. You know, like we were even guilty of this at times. I feel like, you know, I mean, now granted, like I do believe that we had a high skill set in the game of bowling, but Rob, like at least me, I'll speak for myself. I looked way more at my positive accomplishments in bowling as a validation of me being a great bowler than I looked at my negative aspects of what went on with my bowling as a sign that I needed to get better or wasn't as good as I thought I was. Right. And that in turn kind of put me in a position where no, you couldn't tell me that I wasn't the truth. Because I bowled 300 and I shot these high series and I've won these JBTs and I bowled these amazing series and games in high school and this and that. So I was even doing that. And now I think, 20 some years later, it's much worse. It's much worse because that standard has dropped a lot even from where it was at that time and it was somewhat low. So yeah, I don't know, man. I just think that bowling is in a bad place with the self validation, like you and again, people are gonna hate on him, bring up something. People are gonna be like, oh yeah, you shouldn't say this about a kid's accomplishment or something. Like Rob, there's all these young kids who shoot 300s and bowl these big series and stuff. And then they post it on social media and, they get in the newspaper and they maybe get on the news or they do this. And like, honestly, what is the value of it? What is the value? I mean, the value of it is almost non-existent. So
yeah, I mean, look, I feel like that's the just day and age of the generation where, the participation trophy generation, right? Where everybody was getting trophies for participating, right?
Bowling plays into that so heavily.
So and you know heavily. That well because you were involved with a lot of the high school kids and a lot of the juniors.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I was just going to say the same thing. I think that's one of the reasons that high school bowling is so popular. Okay. But again, there's that lack of connection between all those high school bowlers and where they go after. Right. But, listen, I mean, there's a ton of bowlers out there who really have no level of accomplishment at all. But if you ask them, they will tell you that they have a very high level of accomplishment And
Gotcha.
yeah,
Makes sense.
I think that this post has something to do with that. So
Anyway, so real quick before we move on, because we don't
no,
want
I
to go
didn't.
too
I
long
didn't
on
give
this.
I didn't give my worst of the week
No,
yet.
no, no, no. I said yeah. No. I just want to
Okay,
finish this
all
up
right.
before. So Belmo, his response to me on the Twitter was like, "Oh, you must be fun at parties," and look, like going back to my original tweet, like, look, I don't mind if No Tap is around and people are doing it for fun and they go out and they have a good time and they drink and they do this. But when I see the bowling centers, because Josh Blanchard commented, or was it? It might have been Josh Blanchard saying that. No, it wasn't Josh Blanchard. It was whoever it was saying that he gets 100. Oh, Tyson Brannigan was telling me he gets like 150 or 130 entries for his no tap, like, so he shouldn't run that. That's not really what I was trying to like convey. That wasn't really the message, but I didn't think the tweet was going to get as much hits as it was until Belmo commented on it. And you know what happens when the social media Oprah of bowling comments on your tweet? All of his lackeys all of a sudden are going to pile up on you regardless of what you were trying to say. Hey, look, I love myself a good Twitter, a Royal Rumble or whatnot. But anyway, that was really what I was trying to say on the tweet. So, all right, Mike, your worst of the week, and then we'll wrap it up for the people.
My worst of the week goes out to all the bozos this week who felt the need.
Oh God.
Who felt the need to go on social media and post about getting your Purple Hammer early. Your new Purple Hammer, your New Brunswick Purple Hammer early. Okay, let me say a few things. First of all, no one gives a shit, okay, about that you got your Purple Hammer early, all right? Secondly, most of these people throwing a Purple Hammer is meaningless in their hands, okay, because the Purple Hammer is really only an effective tool in the hands of really talented bowlers. And third, who cares? Who really? Who
That was
who
your
cares?
first. That was your first one.
I had to reemphasize that though. Who cares? I mean, really. So
that's hilarious. That's a
I
good
saw
one, Mike.
so many of these posts. I was just like, really, guys, really, this is what you're putting out to the world.
This is the state of bowling, Mike.
And yeah,
the world we live in.
David Tolson saying it's not even the same ball. Yeah, I know, right? It's not even the same ball. Like, who even knows if it's something special? It could be a complete dud. It could be a complete dud, and you're all on social media, all hyped up about a complete dud. And really, if you're a house bowler, if you're just a regular league, one of these Patch Pirate sponsored league bowlers, okay? If you're one of these guys, when you using a Purple Hammer, when you breaking that out of your bag, homie, when you breaking that out, you're never breaking that out of your bag, okay? You're never breaking that out of your bag. So, keep the Purple Hammer post to yourself, folks. It's not that big of a deal. All right.
Perfect. I'm ending on that.
All right. Final thoughts, Rob.
Honestly, I really don't really have any final thoughts this week, Mike. I'm still haven't really practiced at all a lot this week. Still finishing up a move now, first week at a new company. So I'm just trying to get settled. But eventually, the TAT's coming up here at the end of the month. So I'll be getting on the lanes here soon, get some practice. And that's really all I got tonight, Mike.
My final thought tonight is that I was listening to the Bill Simmons podcast today. And he had on Chuck Klusterman, writer, covers pop culture, I would say, author, etc. And they were having a discussion about baseball. And Chuck Klusterman was presenting the idea that baseball would be a way more interesting or get way more attention from people if they boiled down the season to where they only played 2 games in a week. Every team plays 2 games in a week. All the teams play on the same day. If you want to follow baseball, these are the 2 days you have to tune in to follow baseball. You'd really rely on highlights because you'd be watching your team and you wouldn't be able to watch the other team. So everybody would be playing generally at the same time. And my final thought is when I listened to this podcast and I heard this point, I went back to the idea that bowling has to own a night.
Yep.
That's it.
Agreed.
I mean, I really
I agree with that.
when I listened to that podcast today, I really went back to some of our conversations and just thought to myself, yeah, like bowling, if it really wants to see headway in the ratings and the coverage and any kind of attention from mainstream, it's got to find a night to own. It really does. So that's my final thought. Rob, we'll keep it real for the people always.
Sure.
Sweep the Rack. We're always here. Sweep the Rack at Gmail. Hit us up. We love the emails, folks. We try and get back. We're a little busy right now, but we always try and get back to the email. So Sweep the Rack at Gmail. Hit us up.
And for the people out there too, for next week, there might be a little bit of a time push. So just look out for that. I'll post it up all on social media. That's just due to the new job and me.
Guess why, guys? Guess why?
Because I'm super busy.
Rob's super busy.
Yeah, but look, like 5 p.m. Pacific time when you work in a corporate, corporate day job isn't exactly the greatest time.
Well, you also have a podcast co-host out here on the East Coast, so when you wrap up work at 7 o'clock, I'm in bed. So you got.
Hey, you're on summer vacation. You're on summer vacay. You can take an hour from your pool.
I got another 7 days left. I got seven days. The countdown is so on, bro.
I know. It must be nice to have a countdown.
Listen, August 28th, yo. August. I'm putting word out. I hired a bartender today.
Oh my God.
August 28th. August 28th at my crib. Dave, August 28th. You were at the party 21 years ago, Dave. You know that it's worth a flight up from Florida to attend one of my parties. You know this, so you're more than welcome. Rob, I'm at the 215 on Twitter. Rob is
Brooklyn Rob 11.
Brooklyn Rob 11. Hit us up. Let us know what's good. Check out the PBA shows. Grab a Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Grab a Manscaped.
I'll grab a Pabst Blue Ribbon. I'll open it. You know what I'll use it for? I'll use it to make my beer-based hot sauce. That's what I'll use the Pabst Blue Ribbon for.
Perfect.
So I'll pour some into the hot sauce, and then I'll pour the rest down the drain and not drink it. I'll enjoy my other stuff then. Support bowling. If we can bet, hit us up on Twitter. I'll be active with the bets. And unlike my co-host, I'll be offering open action to all my friends that are interested in betting. So
I don't. I'm done betting on bowling.
If we can bet on these shows, I might be done after these shows, as a matter of fact. So,
all right, guys.
Have a great week. We'll see you next week. Take it
Later.
easy.
You are now listening to Sweep the Rack podcast featuring Brooklyn Rob and Big Mike.